All right, we are back with Mara. Mara, say hi.
Hi.
And remind us what monologue you are doing.
I am doing Catholic schoolgirls.
Great, and I know we've worked this a little bit. I just want to take a moment and give an example of a little choice making about moment before. And I'm sure you've done some good work here, but just for clarity for folks that are watching, okay? So what is your character's moment before as you've defined it? Before.
My moment before is we're catching up, and she's actually joking about the new church that she's going to, and she's explaining that to me. And I have not been in church in a while, so I'm cracking a bunch of jokes about like, oh yeah, remember when I used to go to church, blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of my moment before. Love it.
So let's take it back a little bit, just to 5 minutes before the top of your before you start speaking your monologue. Mm-hmm. Just to be clear, folks at home, your beginning of your monologue is not when you start speaking. It is the moment before you start speaking, and that's exactly what we're working on right now. So 5 minutes before this moment of your monologue starts happening, where were you? What were you doing?
We were going up and grabbing our coffee that had just gotten ready.
Okay, so coffee is up the counter? Mm-hmm. So the two of you went up, grabbed the coffee. Great. Was it super hot? Was it ready to drink?
It was so hot.
Okay. Cream, sugar, what do you put in your coffee?
I put so much milk and so much sugar.
The coffee here, is it, you like it?
I do.
Okay. So when you picked it up, could you smell it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Very clear moment before. We've already talked about environment quite a bit before, so great. So you went with someone you love, your best friend. You went out and grabbed 2 cups of coffee. And how does that moment, that 5 minutes before, how does that moment feel emotionally?
It feels kind of this nervous energy because this is somebody who I love very much, but I haven't seen in a really long time. And I'm afraid that because of our lives being so different the past couple of years, that she's not going to accept necessarily where I'm at.
I love that. So there's a conflict in that moment 5 minutes before, which is, I love this person, where we're being here with them. Oh God, this coffee smells wonderful and familiar together with them, but uncertainty.
Yeah.
Underneath of that. I love it. So how about the moment before you feel the need to respond? What does your partner say to you?
She says, well, you could always come to church with me.
Okay. So your job in the moment before, obviously, is to hear that, take that in, have a response, or have a need to respond, and then figure out what to respond, right? So what is your internal response to that when she says you could come to church with me?
Panic.
Why?
Because that takes me back to where I was 5 years ago.
Okay. So the need to speak, and what's your first line?
My first line is, so that's it, I guess.
Great. So here's what we're going to do. Just as an exercise, we just need the very top of your monologue. I just want you to sit for a moment and consider how you felt 5 minutes before, and that great feeling with the underlying uncertainty about how this is going to go. And then I want you to hear your partner say the line. Again, I want you to hear it, try to digest it, and then try to figure out how to respond, and then just respond for the first time ever. Cool?
Cool.
Take your time.
So that's it, I guess. Except for a couple weeks ago, I was at a party, and all of a sudden, I started telling all of these wild Catholic school stories.
Great, and we'll pause you there for the sake of the exercise. So, Mark, question for you. As an actor, how does having a clear moment before, especially a monologue or an audition, empower you toward action?
If I don't have a moment before, I automatically, as an actor, don't know where I'm going. So it is that really necessary part of knowing where I'm going, that action that I'm going to take, and it honestly, like when it comes to if I'm filming self-tapes, moment before and moment after are some of the things that I hone in on the most. And when it comes to takes, if I don't have a strong moment before, I immediately film it again.
Great. I hope everybody watching this is hearing what Mara's saying. And the other thing I would layer onto that is particularly important at auditions. It's always important, but especially at auditions where you are very self-aware. In your experience, how can having a strong moment before take you away from jitters or self-awareness and put you in the scene? How does that help at auditions?
I know when I did the whole college audition process, I literally had to have a system. And for those moments, for the auditions that I didn't have that moment before, I was completely off balance. But when I took the time to establish space, establish my moment before, see who I was seeing, I had the best auditions I've had throughout my career.
I love that, because that's exactly what we're talking about. It's just a simple process of dropping in, hearing, having a need to respond and feel. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Mara.
Thank you.